welcome to another episode of Mythkeepers. We are your hosts. I am Scott, and joining me, as always, he's been playing Ring Around the Rosie with his identical twin brother. It's Zachary Attackery.
Yeah, I always resort back to childhood games when murder.
When
there's some real when murder
when murder is about to happen.
Yes.
Just to lighten the mood, you know?
Yeah, definitely. You know, actually speaking lightening the mood with Ring Around the Rosie is actually not that's a very dark song.
It's extremely dark. Yeah, what it actually means. Yeah, no, that's true. If you don't know, look up the meaning of Ring Around the Rosie.
We're actually changing the podcast to a Ring Around the Posy lore podcast. So follow for more.
That'll be a short podcast. There's only so much to discuss.
One episode per line.
Per line of the yeah, all right. Fair enough. I'm here for that. I'm definitely here for that. Zachy boy, we are here to talk House of the Dragon Season 2, Episode 2. As of yet unnamed, as we are recording this Sunday evening after we have watched the episode, HBO has not released a name of this episode yet.
It's not anywhere that I can find.
Maybe they forgot about it. Like I think I will shortly forget about this episode.
What?
Oh boy. Maybe that's letting the cat out of the bag immediately.
It might be. I think I'm maybe not going to agree with.
Okay, well, hey, listen.
Much of that. So
we don't disagree very often. So maybe this will actually be fun.
Yeah, all the other times it's just not fun.
It's awful. It's the worst. I hate it.
Yeah, definitely.
I just to jump in. This episode wasn't like terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, I found it a slog. Like, a lot of the way through.
I think I was... okay, so I will admit. And I said this to Amanda when we just finished the episode. I think it definitely came down...
Oh, definitely.
From last episode.
Yes.
And so for that reason, I could understand some disappointment, understand some boredom, especially because like you expect there to be like retribution.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you expect there to like be a heavy bounce back from the end of last episode.
There was some, to be fair, but it's just I think I expected heavier repercussions.
I think the way because I had a feeling that this might be a conversation we had, and I think. The best way to describe my feelings for this episode is I was enamored by the micro, but the macro of the episode was a little stale. It was a little boring. And we'll talk about it as we get into our scenes that we have highlighted. But there were a lot of little things that I really liked.
Okay.
And especially performances, music are some, just to name a few.
Okay.
But the actual events themselves were like, meh, so.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm having trouble. I'm curious to hear where you were getting the big micro, or the good micro, because... The
that
big micro.
An oxymoron.
Did I say the big micro?
Yeah, you did.
I gotta love that tiny macro and that big micro. Because I mean,
that's what she said.
If that is, I might have to. So I'm not bored during this podcast. I might have to make liberal use of the soundboard tonight. I feel like okay. Here's my hot take.
Okay.
If Otto Hightower isn't in this episode, this is like a 2 out of 10. Like it's
okay. So he's definitely part of the equation of what I really loved here.
Like he is the main thing. There's maybe a couple other things, but like he is the shining star of this episode for me.
See, he's up there. But we'll talk a little bit more about it. Before we jump in, guys, if you're new here, consider subscribing. Consider hitting the follow button on whatever podcast listening app that you are using. We are going episode by episode through Season 2 of House of the Dragon, following up on what we did for last season. And you guys can find that. I will put those links down below. It is on a different podcast name, so different platform, but I will share that in the description. Yeah, we're here to just dive in, and we are also educated on this particular part of the world of Ice and Fire, as neither Scott and I have read Fire and Blood, so we are watching purely for the spectacle and the story that the TV show is here to deliver us, and we are untarnished at this time by the expectations of the book Fire and Blood.
Oh, tarnished!
So if that
you've been playing Elden Ring,
speed,
have you?
No, I know you have. Yeah. But yeah, if that's your speed, guys, we would love if you guys continued hanging out with us and hitting the subscribe button or doing that whole thing. Scott, let's dive in. Let's do the thing.
I feel like you're gonna have to do the heavy lifting for the beat by beats. Cause there's a lot that just is not standing out. Also, was this episode not like really long? Also, was it like an hour and 15, hour and 20? I think I saw.
I did not take note of the runtime, but I always get a little bit mixed up with the runtime because I watch the After the Thrones thing, like that's not what it's called anymore, but just like where they talk about the episode.
Maybe that's what I mean. I guess I didn't take into account like that there's stuff after it, but yeah. It seemed, again, maybe this was just my experience with it, but it seemed longer than it needed to be. Let me say that. Yeah, where does this, does it start with kind of Aegon raging?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first thing immediate is there is some beautiful, intensely dark string music.
Yes, music was phenomenal
at the intro of this episode.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh fuck, I'm in. We're back in. It's House of the Dragon Sunday. Here's the music.
A couple times they played I feel like a few lines from the track that you and I really loved from the Green Council episode of last season. Like they were definitely using some of those same, motifs or whatever it would be. I caught a couple times.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's like the motif specifically stood out, but there were several points here in my notes that I was like, God damn, this music is fucking ruling.
It's real good, as always.
And yeah, I think I'm just gonna get out in front of this and say that this first opening scene, I was like, man, Aegon losing his absolute shit in the throne, or in his room, excuse me. Tom Glynn-Carney is the name of the actor that plays Aegon. And for me, this episode was run by Tom Glynn-Carney. His performances were fucking insane, dude.
I liked him more last episode. Like, I'm still very...
Well, there was more to like last episode.
No, well, not... It's just a like of just, like, more intrigue and more interesting. Like, I'm still... Aegon is still one of the ones that I'm in on. Like, I don't get me wrong. I enjoyed him this episode. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed him in the having to weave in and out, like pick his spots more of where he's going to be kind of the smarmy prick. And
okay, I can I understand what you're saying, and I don't think that that's like misplaced. I do agree with that. I think his character was more interesting in episode 1. I think for me, what I'm talking about is Tom Glynn-Carney's performance.
Oh, he's doing a great job, no question.
Like the dude is fucking acting.
Yeah.
And then he has a couple of scenes with Rhys Ifan. I'm not trying to say his last name, but the guy that plays Otto.
Yeah.
Which together they were like, unbelievable.
Yes.
So, yeah. So okay. So,
but he's smashing my dude Viserys and Eddard. Eddard was the guy. The name of the model maker that was helping Viserys.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Smashing the model, not okay, my dude. Come on.
Dude, King Aegon the second of his name, Breaker of Legos.
Breaker of Legos.
That's my fucking guy.
That's pretty good.
So we get some like a couple quick like shots of Aemond the super sleuth, and he's like just digging around and he picks up a coin, and then he doesn't do anything with it.
I feel like there's a lot of Aemond lovers out there, but this cannot be a hot take. Fucking useless, this episode.
Yeah.
Honestly, kind of last episode as well. So far, season 2, Almond Milk is... he's got the golden sombrero, Zach. He's just striking out all over the place.
Oh, I don't even know what that term means.
Yeah, obviously you don't. Yeah. Useless. He's utterly useless. I'm so out on Almond Milk. I don't understand.
I think Amanda just likes him because she thinks he's hot.
Well, I think everyone else just likes him because he has an eye patch. We've talked about this.
Well, I mean, yeah.
It is literally the only cool thing about him.
I think that Aemond will pop off, but you're right. The last 2 episodes,
kind of fucking better at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, he finds this coin.
Yeah.
And then nothing comes of it, unless I'm an idiot and didn't notice. But nothing came of it to me. Okay. So the next scene I have in my notes is Alicent and Otto, where she's feeling a lot of grief and guilt for her being occupied during the events of last night with Sir Criston Cole.
Yes.
I thought it was an okay scene.
Yeah. I appreciate
Otto was a standout there.
I appreciate that she was concerned for her daughter.
Yes.
But her actions throughout the rest of the episode don't fully back that up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I don't know. Alicent's kind of lost me a little bit in this episode. Like, what I just don't understand what she's doing sometimes.
Well, she has another scene with Otto later that it felt like maybe she kind of like put back on her big boy pants, her big girl pants, excuse me. And
then she went and took them off for Sir Criston.
Yeah.
which is a whole thing.
She's trying to make the 8, man.
She is. She's trying to make the 8.
If you're Sir Criston Cole, and you bang a queen, that's got to cross off like 3 of the 8, right? Well, like that's got to be like free points, right?
We talked about this. He's banged 2 queens now.
Oh, I mean, so he's basically made the 8.
Yeah, basically. He
maybe he needs to go fuck someone in Dorne.
Yeah, he needs either a Riverlands girl or
maybe
Dorne.
like an Iron Islands girl, because they're like a little psycho.
A little psycho.
Yeah, man.
Freaking calling out the entire female population of the Iron Islands. That's my guy over here.
Yeah, man. We're a progressive podcast.
Very much so.
Speaking of women and progressive podcasts here. One thing that Amanda brought up to me, we were talking about it actually during the week, I think. And I'm really glad that she voiced this, because as a man, I can be blissfully ignorant at some things. But she pointed out that she's like, I really appreciate the direction of both seasons, because it's more apparent that more women are in the writing room and or the director's seat.
I noticed specifically both this episode was written and directed by women.
Yes.
Which is great.
And several episodes from last season. And she's absolutely right. Like, she pointed it out several times when we were doing our rewatch of season 1, but it just really does a great job of like bringing to light the battles that women go through. And there's actually like many instances of women supporting women and women understanding women. And one of the things that Amanda also brought up is that it's not extremely heavy-handed.
Sure.
It's just it's done in a way that is tasteful and sheds light, for people who can be ignorant, like most men.
Like us, mostly.
Yes, like us, yes. So I appreciated that, and yes, you bringing up that Alicent immediate worry for Helena, I think is a great example of that. Little things like that can absolutely be an oversight in direction.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely appreciate that.
No, for sure. Yeah, a good, like, I mean, that was kind of the whole main, like, funeral procession scene was kind of all about Helaena.
Yes,
and now
I loved that scene.
It was pretty good. Like, that's not a
the
part that I
color
disliked.
grading that scene was insane.
And then I think I'm very interested to see where they take Helena's character this season and where she goes from here, because like then there was the scene where like Aegon and her pass each other on the stairs and he just kind of ignores her, and she seems like just, I mean, rightfully so, just like out of sorts and terrified, and
yes,
you know.
See, I actually took it slightly different. I took it as he actually like saw her, because they're both parents in grief right now.
Sure,
you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's too much of a dipshit to do anything with that. But I took it as like he realized, and then the way, I don't know if you notice this, but when he walks away, doesn't say anything, she like nods to herself like okay, and then keeps going up the stairs, and I understood it as they were just like acknowledging each other, and they both like felt seen. But
I did not take it that way at all. But I took it as he saw her and was like, I don't know how to deal with you ever, and especially not right now. So see ya.
I mean, that could be the case.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, what else? Let's see.
Well, so we did skip over. So then we get the scene in the council room with Aegon and Otto.
Okay, right.
And
where he's trying to convince them to have the funeral procession. Yeah,
and this scene is very powerful too. Otto really stood out, and I think you and I made some jokes about this last season about how he's like the wannabe Tywin.
Sure. He's Tywin light.
He's Tywin. He's diet Tywin.
Yeah.
But he is more and more, I think, moving into that place of like pragmatism that I love and adore in Tywin. And I think this is a great example of that. He suggests that the child's body, Jaehaerys's body, be basically carted through the city. To show everybody what a bad person Rhaenyra is. And
he's trying to make the most of a bad situation.
He is. He is like, we cannot change that he is dead.
Right.
But what we can do is what we do from here forward. You know, like what we can control.
Try and rally the realm behind us and shine light on this, terrible thing that took place.
Right. I think, and I can't take credit for this. This was said in the after episode thoughts, but I love that they said it. I've heard it before, but they say like, it's the old adage of like, never let a crisis go to waste.
Oh, true. Yeah.
And I mean, it just really encapsulates Otto. And I did like that
for sure.
But I think what I liked even more, and this is maybe me just like my bias with Aegon, is I liked how much he fought back with Otto about this proposition, and then we see him almost still a boy, like looking to his mom.
Yeah.
So I guess I saw a lot of depth, or like maybe not depth, but like he's just broken, like really trying to find his way, trying to find his footing. And I really liked it. So
I mean, Alicent at one point later in the episode says he's still malleable. And I think we can still see that in like what you're talking about. And when she goes in later and he's just crying, like he is definitely, this has affected him more than he, I mean, obviously he's letting on a lot, but even more than he wants to let on.
Yeah.
So
and honestly, I think it's, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it'll be interesting to see like where he goes from here and how Alicent can kind of, still hopefully steer him in the proper directions. But I don't know.
I wonder if she will try doing that through Kristen Cole.
Well, so that's a whole different wrinkle that I did not see coming. I expected it to be Larys, who he was gonna.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
If this is gonna be the end for Otto being hand, which I think we saw coming last episode. Obviously, it was set up. I assumed Larry would be angling for that.
I wonder what he's going to do. What Larry's response to this is going to be.
I have no idea. That like I said, I did not see that coming. I don't know how to process all that yet at all.
Well, that's what we're doing here.
I guess, yeah. Listen, we're talking it through here.
So you were mentioning how that he's feeling like he's feeling this more than even he's letting. I mean, despite him like thrashing about more than he let on, I think he's taking this even in a way that the audience was unsure of how he would react because he was such like a maybe not loose cannon, but just like nobody really understood Aegon last season and even into episode 1. Part of the intrigue is that like we don't really know this guy, you know. So yeah, I mean, I think that's playing into it really well.
By the way, quick thing that I love that Otto brought up was the fact that the crowning ceremony for Aegon was interrupted by Rhaenys, busting out with her dragon, and how that kind of made him look weak and like, not a great start to the reign of Aegon II, and people were kind of whispering about it. I wondered if, I always kind of wondered about that, like, how did people react to that ceremony getting interrupted by, Rhaenys busting out like a badass with her dragon? So I'm glad we got that acknowledgement from Otto.
Right. So I don't want to appear weak, and he's like, you are weak.
Yeah, dude, fucking take a look in the mirror, my guy.
Yeah. No, it is. I just thought it was them going to blows with each other. Yeah. I thought it was very good.
Yeah. It was all right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. See, here's the thing is like a scene like that you and I would adore in an episode that had other stuff, like other big events to like.
Sure.
Like that's why I guess that's why I'm saying like I really appreciated a lot of the micro. That individual scene was fantastic.
Well, I feel like that scene is me. I feel like that was a very average Game of Thrones / House of the Dragon scene. It stands out in this episode because the rest of the episode was that subpar. That is my view.
I don't know, man.
That's how I was
really, really into their performances. But okay. So the next thing I have is the actual funeral procession. There's a shot right when it begins where the gate is, I can't remember if it's raised or lowered, but the gate goes up and we see the entire family mounted, and they're all like in black. And I just thought that was a really cool shot. And I think that the way that the funeral procession was shot was also really cool.
Very uncomfortable, oppressive. Like they put you in Helena's like shoes pretty well.
Yes. Yeah, there's a couple of shots of Helena like looking up with she's wearing like that black veil.
Yeah, I know the ones you're talking about.
It looked really good.
Are those supposed to be like flower petals? Like what the fuck are they throwing? It's like just like little green, it just looks like little plant bits. Just like quit throwing plant bits at it. Doesn't quite look like flower petals, but that's the only thing I can figure it is. It just looks like chopped up weeds. And I'm like, dude, my allergies would be going fucking nuts if people were throwing all that
the
shit.
Bees, man. Where are all the bees at?
All the bees, brother. This pollen is going to kill my ass. That's all I could think about during that whole scene was like, what the fuck are they throwing? And stop it. Stop throwing it.
I feel like your take, like you decided that you were already uninterested.
No, that's not true.
And you're just like, I'm just going to shit on
No.
everything.
That's not true. I'm giving you my honest thoughts here, brother. That's what we do here.
Yeah, so the next note I have is they, I think this is happening at the same time. They question the, not Kingsguard, what is he? Gold Cloak.
Gold Cloak, yeah.
The blood is the one that he's referred, or in the blood and cheese thing. They question him.
What an absolute bitch he turned out to be.
Dude, literally, like, they walk in and he's like, nah, bro, you don't have to enroll all that, dude.
Listen. Let me write it all down for you. I'll tell you whatever you want. This literally reminded me of an old Daniel Tosh bit where he's like, I could never hold up under torture. Like, the second that like they just walk in, I would be like, let me tell you everything. Let me just save you all some time. Here, I'll tell you everything. If I forget anything, you guys got email? I'll email it to you later. Like, I don't care. This dude just immediately spills all of his guts. Did they never think to ask him like what the rat catcher looked like? Like, can he not describe?
He would have said he looks kind of like Robin Williams.
Does he look like Robin Williams?
1,000%.
I think you're kind of right now that you mention that.
He just 1,000% looked like Robin Williams.
Yeah, could have saved yourself. I mean, all I gotta say, the Red Keep is just gonna be swarming with rats now. Like you would not believe. It's gonna be bad, so bad.
Yeah, and Helena's afraid of them. So
yeah, true. She does not like them.
So Aegon walks in. And absolutely fucking wrecks his ass.
Yeah,
it's fucked.
I mean, what did you expect? I don't know what you expected from.
I mean,
scene.
no,
I know
that
happened.
It's just like, damn. Also, I don't think we've seen like an actual act of violence from Aegon.
I mean, he fucked up the Legos. Remember?
Well, okay. You know what, dude? That may actually be worse than.
Yeah, no, it's way worse. Who cares about blood? I care about Viserys's model kits.
True.
Would you call it an act of violence when he was wanking it off the balcony?
No, dude, that's an act of pure bliss, bro.
I mean, did you see him? He was pretty violent about it.
Dude.
He was fucking getting after it.
The old one-hander stander upper.
Also, that just brought to mind, we hear about some kind of assault and violence he did to the maid as well in season 1. I forgot about that.
Right.
Too.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right.
So, listen, the dude is unhinged for sure.
He is, for sure.
But he has become way more interesting this season for sure.
Definitely. Okay, so then we get the scene with Rhaenyra and Daemon at their council.
Speaking of unhinged.
Yeah.
Dude. I don't even know where to start with Daemon. I truly don't. I will say, okay, here's where I know how to start. The fucking look that is exchanged between them, like
when she realizes,
yes, is priceless.
Yes.
No notes for that. That's amazing. Because he does like the slow, like look over, like no one look at me, I'm invisible, like no one look at me or think about what I might have done.
Do not perceive me. He's pulling the old Amanda.
The guiltiest look I've ever seen, and I love that it just cuts straight to Rhaenyra like chewing his ass out. I'm like, okay, good, thank God they don't make her be an idiot here.
I also like, small moment, I think it's just because it's my girl Rhaenys. I love that fucker's like talking shit to Rhaenyra. And Rhaenys just sitting down, cool as a fucking cucumber. Mind yourself.
Mind yourself. Yeah. Also, low-key, I think she was talking to Rhaenyra a little bit there.
I think she was talking to both of them.
Yes, correct.
I absolutely think. Yeah.
Also, while we're talking about Rhaenys being a baller, a scene I really enjoyed was the quick scene between her and Corlys.
In bed?
In bed, yes.
Where we learned that Corlys likes to be fucking commanded by her.
Corlys is a
Hell
sub.
Yeah, dude.
Corlys is a sub, and Rhaenys is a dom, confirmed. I'm here for that lore drop. I'm not surprised at all, honestly.
Yeah.
God, there was something Corlys said that besides that, obviously, that I enjoyed, but now I can't remember what it was. But
I don't recall.
But no, I enjoyed that scene. Like, I've enjoyed Corlys more so far this season than I did last season, I think. And give me all the Rhaenys, obviously. So
definitely. There was one line between Rhaenyra and Daemon So, by the way, and it seems like you don't feel the same because you haven't seemed excited about any of this, but I thought Emma Darcy's performance in this scene with Daemon, where she's like, when they're going back and forth in their chambers.
Oh, the performances are good. Yeah.
So fucking good.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, man, they crush it.
I'm also
both of them.
glad we're not sweeping what he did in the last episode of season 1 under the rug, that it's brought back up here.
Oh yes.
Where she's like, I was having a miscarriage by myself alone while you were like plotting to start a war. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You know?
Yes. There's also that shot where she is finally just like, do you accept me as your queen and ruler? Yeah, so it's interesting. Like, this is all stuff that like we should have known or expected with Daemon.
Yes.
Just given his archetype, but I think it's because people like ship them so hard, like they love Daemon and Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just like forget that that's
100%
a variable.
That's who he is. He is a wild card. I also think we had this belief that he had mellowed out, like his marriage to Laena and his time in Pentos,
right?
His having daughters had like mellowed and leveled him out. And then yes, everyone like with the Rhaenyra and Daemon thing, and they seemed like great co-conspirators almost.
Right.
But at the end of the day, Daemon is a fucking nut job.
Yes.
And is a wild card that cannot be controlled, and he is proving it yet again. I don't know how we forgot, because he was an absolute wild card as recent as, like we talked about, episode 10 of season 1.
Right.
When he got all pissed at her and choked her and all this shit.
I mean, even last episode, he was just going stir crazy, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yes. No, he was. Yeah, the dude. Okay, here's my theory about what's going to happen. Because as he was coming out of like the mountain or whatever, the volcano, I guess, on his dragon, I was reminded at the end of last season when he went in there and was like singing to some huge dragon that we barely saw that was breathing fire and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is going to go try and fight, like probably Vhagar is my guess. And his dragon is going to get killed. The Long Boy, which I'm not excited about, but that's what I think is going to happen. So then he's going to have to like bond with whatever that other dragon, probably a bigger, older dragon that he was singing to.
I'm probably mistaken, but I have a theory that dragon is oh fuck, man, I'm so bad with all the dragons' names, dude.
Meraxes?
No, I think it's Vermithor.
Okay.
Just
is there something special I should know about Vermithor?
Just that Vermithor is big as fuck, and like next, I think is the next oldest dragon.
That's
from
besides Vhagar,
right?
That's basically what I'm saying. I'm saying he needs a bigger dragon to compete with Vhagar.
I don't know. I have a feeling that. I mean, I guess he could. You may be right. I just think that if Daemon challenge, and I say if, I like it's obviously going to happen. Daemon v. Aemond.
Sure.
Like that's the fight. That's the Clegane Bowl of this.
Aemond talked about Daemon being afraid of him this episode.
Yes.
It was the only thing worthwhile.
By the way,
that Aemond
hold on.
did.
Aemond naked is gross, bro. All curled up. Dude, like, he looked like the Voldemort fetus. Dude is fucking gross, bro.
Jacket again.
Yeah, dude.
So gross. Listen, I wasn't going to talk about it because I don't want to remember it. The Voldemort fetus is an excellent call out.
It's so
I don't get the appeal of this dude even in the slightest.
Yeah,
I can't. there are plenty of times where I'm like, I can see why people like this character. It's not for me, but I can see why people like this character. No, I do not understand anyone why they would like this character.
We can bring Amanda on the show and interview her and just.
Well, listen. I already know Amanda's a lost cause. To be fair, she likes plenty. She liked Theon. We already know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
okay.
What else, was there anything else you wanted to say about the Rhaenyra Daemon scene?
Yeah,
I mean, it was good stuff.
So a big call out for me was during that scene. Not just the performance, but I thought the dialogue was really good. And you said a lot of the things that like about Daemon that as viewers, because of your inherent love for Daemon Rhaenyra, it's easy to forget about his characteristics. And she vocalized all of them. So I thought the dialogue was excellent. Like stuff that I hadn't ever really like super acknowledged that his character would be feeling, like her questioning, like basically like, are you with me to like help, like fix or repair or heal some like part of you that still wishes that you had the throne, or that your brother didn't trust you, or yada yada yada, right? And Daemon, his brain working in the way that's like, he was afraid of me, and like, because that's all he can think about. And she's like, no, he just couldn't trust you the same way that I can't trust you.
Turns out he did not know his brother at all, because he also says something. It's truly like, he also says something to the effect of like his quest for glory. Like, Viserys did not give a shit about glory, like,
right,
even a little bit. Like,
he cared about legacy in the way that, like,
but that's
how
different.
He would be remembered.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Legacy is different. Like, I feel like he wanted to be remembered as Jaehaerys was, as like a very peaceful, like wise king. He never cared about like winning glory and winning battles and stuff like him. So like, that line alone is just like, Daemon, you didn't know your brother like at fucking all.
She Rhaenyra says this line that is so fucking sick. Basically saying like, you doing this is to, quote, to indulge the darkness which you keep sheathed like a blade.
That was a good line.
And
that
was
a
like,
fire line.
Damn, dude, that's fucking sick.
That was like that meme of like the flames of someone writing in parchment as the writer's writing that line.
Yeah, man. Basically, exactly.
Also, something else I wanted to call attention to your point about like him doing this to like kind of reclaim some of his, his feelings for having been passed over for the throne.
Yeah.
Gave me similar vibes to like the Rhaenys Corlys situation, how for a long time during last season, it was him that kept like, pressing that and kept saying like, you deserved the crown and this and that. And she's like, you're not, quit trying to pretend like you're doing this for me, because you're not.
Yeah.
You're doing it for you. And Rhaenyra is basically having that same conversation with Daemon right now. It's like, quit telling me you're like loyal to me, you're doing all this for me, because you're not. You're doing it for you.
Yeah, it's definitely a good dynamic and a good like character mix to throw in, so that it's not, because it would be so easy for writers to fall into the trap of like greens versus blacks. Sure. Like it's just good guys versus bad guys, or bad guys versus bad guys, or whatever, right?
Bad guys, more accurate.
I mean, that's a little more accurate. But yeah, I'm loving all the inner house turmoil, because it does like it in a story that can't be as massive as Game of Thrones, where you have 80,000 other angles. Getting to like focus down and into like the individual relationships with everybody, I think helps supplement a lot of that. So
I think that's always been the beauty of this world, is seeing both sides, the massive truckloads of gray. I think choosing the green or the blacks, I think choosing sides is incredibly boring, and I'm not here for it. Like, I want interesting characters
but
on both
Team
sides.
Edgar.
But Team Edgar for sure. Go check out our Akatar series. Shameless plugs. All right, what happens next?
Yeah, so Okay, small. This is me just kind of zeroing on the micro and some of the production stuff, but we talked last episode a lot about the lighting, the use of lighting, and we get this scene, and it's cut back and forth with Daemon flying off, with Rhaenyra playing with
the light, the dust.
Yes, playing with her kids in the sunlit room. Beautiful, beautiful scene with incredible music over it also. So needed to call that out.
You love the micro so much. Tell me about how much you love all the white worm scenes, Zachary. Tell me about those. There's so many of them that have so much important relevance to the plot. Tell me about them, Zachary.
Yeah, man. Those I can't say anything, pal. Those are I just don't care. Like, okay.
Literally, one of those scenes, I think they forgot to, they misedited it or something, I'm pretty sure. Or it's just I don't understand what the point of it was, where she's like, hey, how'd you get that scar? And then the scene just ended. And I was like, wait, what the fuck just happened?
I think she was trying to see, Mysaria was very trying to say hey, we're the same, or not the same, but we're both passionate people, and I've had to work for everything I have, and I just don't want anything to do with any of this. She's sharing a lot.
Sure.
And I thought Rhaenyra was kind of questioning her in a way of one, should I trust you? And two, is it even safe to have you around?
Sure.
And she's saying, no, yeah, hurting you wouldn't be anything that I give a shit about. And she's like, well, how'd you get that scar? Basically, what type of situation did you put yourself in that you got that scar? Are you a killer? I think is what she was asking her.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get that at all.
And Mysaria doesn't give her anything, so she's like, okay, this conversation's done. I'm just telling you how I perceived it while it was happening. I also don't like their scenes, and I just don't like that character.
Are we supposed to assume that she was able to get word to Eric, not Eric, and that's why he came? Well, no, because surely hold on. There would be more guards. If she alerted the guards there, and the guards were then alerted up at the castle, more guards would have come in to aid in that. So that also doesn't make sense. The only thing that makes sense is if Eric, not Eric, saw Eric, not Eric, and was like,
or he had some type of twin connection.
He had some kind of twin premonition. He was tired of playing Ring Around the Rosie, pocket full of posy, and just busted in by himself. Because if it was truly her, surely there would have been more guards present.
Yeah, but that doesn't make for a good scene.
Well, none of her scenes made for good scenes. I hate to break it to you.
So the only thing that I really took in a positive light, and it really is more about Rhaenyra than her, is I think that it gave Rhaenyra the opportunity to make a decision on how she wants to rule with people.
Fair enough. Although it really, is it though? Because she's if this is what you were told, we will honor the word of our house.
That's still a choice. She doesn't trust this person, and she's pissed off at at Daemon going and doing what he did.
She's still just basically agreeing,
and she's
with
looking for
Daemon
someone to
said.
blame. Yeah, but I think it's very apparent that she's I need someone to blame because Daemon's gone and you had a hand in this. So she's pissed off at her, but she sits on it and thinks, and whatever conversation, whatever the fuck that first conversation was, apparently did something, and Rhaenyra makes a choice to not keep her.
Fair enough.
That's how I took it. I'm looking to enjoy this though.
No, listen, I am too. No one wants to enjoy this more than I do.
Well, I think I might have you a little beat.
Nah, fuck you. There was you said this earlier, I can't even remember what scene it was in relation to, but you said something effective yeah, I don't know what that was about. And I felt that way about so many scenes, and I can only assume, I have to give the benefit of the doubt that these things will become important later and that we're building to things. But it's like, there's the scene with Alan and his brother. It's like, okay, sure. I figured Alan would be a recurring character, but right now that scene does nothing for me. There's the scene with Hugh the blacksmith.
I liked that.
Where, well, listen, it's not bad. I'm just like, this is when you have all of these in a single episode.
Okay.
And the
fair.
rest of the episode is also, it's just like, it was such a slog. There was also a scene that I truly do not understand what the point of it was, where he's like digging for crabs and clams and he watches a dragon fly overhead and the dragon flies for a minute and the scene ends. And I'm like, what the hell was that supposed to be about?
Yeah.
Dude just watching a dragon.
I mean, I feel like it's telling us that we're about to have a war on, or a battle on Driftmark. Like, I think that's probably something that's probably one of the, I mean, I don't know the dragons just by looking at them flying that far away, but
sure,
I would assume that that's one of the Green's dragons, like, going to fuck shit up.
Who would it be, though? Don't they only have, like, Vhagar and Aegon's dragon?
It's probably Vhagar.
That was not fucking Vhagar. That's, like, the one dragon I can identify by sight. Vhagar looks old and raggedy as shit. That dragon did not.
I feel like at the... Was it last episode? Whenever they're talking about the dragons versus dragons, don't they say that they have 4?
I can't remember. It was in the final episode of season 1. Damon talks about it, but I can't remember how many they said. Also,
I think they said 4. I just don't know which ones they are.
Who they would be? Yeah, I totally forgot. Alicent had another son. Devon? No, they talked about him briefly. Her and Otto at the end.
Yeah,
he's apparently in Old Town. And I was like, oh, that's right. She did have another son.
What? Wait.
Right? That's what they said.
They did say that, and I was like, maybe I just misunderstood that.
No, but wasn't there another, like, younger child, younger than Helena?
Aemond. Oh.
And Almond?
Maybe.
I mean, that's what Otto said, and I was like, you know what? I do think I remember seeing another baby at some point. I don't know. Anyway,
I thought I may have misunderstood that, but then I'm probably wrong.
Okay.
So yeah, I just don't recall.
Anyway, back to my original point was there were too many of those scenes where I'm just like, okay, I'm sure this is building towards something later in the season. At least I hope it is. But right now, this is just a slog. There's too much of this. Too much that is pointless right now.
I can understand that. I think that as a whole episode, I mean, and we'll talk about this more when we finish the episode, but I said it at the beginning. I'll remind you here. Like,
you're finding beauty in the micro. I know.
No, well, and it's not just that. It's just that, like, the episode as a whole piece may have struggled comparatively to, a lot of things that we've watched with Game of Thrones, House of Dragons, whatever. Sure. But very much like our approach and rewatch of season 8 of Game of Thrones, like, there were some truly great standout moments.
Sure.
As a whole, it may have struggled, and I think both deserve recognition.
Yeah, for sure.
Like for example, the Hugh scene with the I think he's the armorer, right, from last episode.
Yeah.
Like, I like seeing, like, little bits of, like, what the small folk are having to do. Like, what are the repercussions of, like, the actions that are happening around them? Like, what else is happening in this world?
Sure.
Will he be a reoccurring character? I don't know. I'm sure he'll come back in some facet, but, like, how long was that? A minute and a half? Like,
it was much longer than that.
With Hugh?
Yes. Oh, it took a minute. They talked about stew for a minute and a half. For fuck's sake.
I just think that they're painting the picture of, like, what's happening.
No,
but to your credit, though,
but
does it all belong in the same episode? maybe not.
Yeah.
And so as an individual scene, is it a bad scene? No. But did it fit? No. I think, and I'll go ahead and say this here now, but I think that the biggest struggle of this episode is in a show that has an incredibly fast pace with big events, hard-hitting events too, that this episode was much, much, much slower. I think that a lot of what were the big events in this episode are still very important and very good on their own, but I don't think that, like, if you were to watch episode 1 straight into episode 2, you would fall asleep in the second episode.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it just works well with how high everything ended at episode 1.
Sure.
So yeah, like as in that aspect, I don't think it was incredibly strong. But there are scenes that I'll take with me to the end of the season. I think that are great, you know.
Well, what else do we need to talk about? What else even happened?
Well, I mean, there's the Missaria stuff, which we kind of talked about.
Yeah, we're done with that. I'm done with
that. Okay, so this is where we get Aegon and Otto.
Okay, yes. This is what this is what I do want to talk about.
So Aegon and Otto,
all the rat catchers are hanged, and Otto comes in and is like, "You're a blundering fucking idiot.
Yes.
What was I ever even smoking, deciding to put you on the throne?"
Right.
Yeah, great stuff.
Couple of things I liked here. I can't remember exactly what Otto said. But about like how like word of Rhaenyra's doings are going all the way out, you know, to all the region, you know, all that everywhere in the realm. And Aegon is just like, dude, like, I want to fuck somebody up.
Right.
He says, I wish to spill blood, not ink. That's a great line.
It's a pretty good line.
And then he says something about like, my father picked me or put me on the throne. And that begins this little like leg of this conversation that's about Viserys. And I really liked Otto's tone during this.
Yes.
Aegon says, my father is dead. And Otto says, he is. And we are the poorer for it.
We are the poorer for it. That's my dude. Anyone that stands for Viserys is my dude.
Yes. And he even calls out, like, yes, he was weak, but he was a man. He was judicious and had dignity.
Yes.
And yeah, it was just I just thought it was a really, really, really great blow for blow between the two of them. And Tom Glynn-Carney and what the fuck is his name again?
Rhys something.
Ifans, or again, forgive my pronunciation. They owned this episode for me.
No, for sure.
At that, and then Emma Darcy's performance on Dragonstone. But so our fucking little dipshit kid fires his grandpa as the Hand of the King.
There was a moment when I thought Aegon was unhinged enough. I thought he might kill Otto. Like, because I
thought so too.
Otto was laying into his ass, and I was like, Aegon is just unhinged enough to like tell Kristen Cole to do something, or just he's got the knife to stab him himself.
Yes.
Thankfully, I think it's more interesting that he doesn't do that.
And that he's going to go back to well, now to Hightower.
Right. But. Kristen Cole is a really blindsided me choice. I will say, because I know a lot of people are just like on the Kristen Cole hate train right now and have been for a while. And I would just like to say Kristen Cole is exactly the kind of scumbag this show needs. Like, he is 100% a scum douchebag, but you kind of need someone like him on this show.
I mean, we already have Larys.
Nah, but he's different. He's different.
That's fair. I mean, you're not wrong though.
Yeah.
Like, he does occupy the like
I just don't know if I see him as like a hand. And maybe that's the whole point, is that we have this very preconceived notion of a hand of the king. Your Eddards, your Tywins, your Tyrion, your, whoever the fuck else ever. That at least they're like, they demand respect as like a high lord, or they're very clever in like Tyrion's case. And Kristen Cole is like none of those things, really.
Kristen Cole is an absolute fucking dipshit, dude.
Exactly. Like, this is gonna be a fucking train wreck.
Yeah,
but I'm here for it. I guess. Yeah, no, I don't know. I didn't know how to feel like about this.
Like I think that it will make for some really interesting stuff. I almost wonder. You know what would be interesting? I'm just having this thought now. Is if he becomes, Hand of the King, and then Aegon realizes, like,
what have I done?
Like, dude, like I was just doing that to fuck over Otto.
Yeah, maybe.
And then retracts it. It would be really interesting to see how Kristen deals with that.
I don't know. Maybe he'll just have like a hand of the week type thing. Maybe Aegon is that type of unhinged where he'll change his hand like once a week.
Flavor of the week, man.
Yeah, exactly. Should we talk about this Eric thing?
Yeah. So part of Kristen's bullshit is that he went after one of our boys, Eric, not Eric, though.
Right.
About his cloak being dirty, and he's just being a real fuckhole to him.
It sucks so bad.
Like, just such a fucking dipshit, dude. And then is like, hey, you want to make yourself useful, bitch?
Mm-hmm. Go impersonate your twin brother on Dragonstone.
Yeah, and stop this war before it happens. And Eric, not Eric, is like, I'm sorry, what? You want me to do what?
This
by
plan
myself?
Works surprisingly well for how
it really
shit
does.
It is. Yeah. Check your security on Dragonstone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you might need to check it again.
I don't have it. It's not working.
What a legend.
There it goes.
Oh, there we go.
Production.
Okay, so Eric, not Eric, goes to Dragonstone. And sneaks into Rhaenyra's room. And is going to kill her, and then Eric, not Eric, runs in and is like, brother!
Yeah.
Brother! And then they fight to the death.
Yeah.
Okay, so here are my thoughts. It is very weird how it got there. But I did like the fight.
Yeah, the fight's fine.
I thought the fight was actually really good. And these are two characters that I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, you made that very clear last season. You don't give a shit about them.
Like, they're just so whatever. But like, their fight made me care about them. Yeah, it did actually. Well, it made me care about like their feelings towards each other. Like they are brothers. They do love each other, but they made their choice in their alliance or their allegiance. And I just think it was very sad that Eric, not Eric, kills his brother and then falls on his sword.
I'm assuming that was the green side brother that won.
I think so, yes.
I mean, it wouldn't...
How did you take that?
So I was glad they didn't do what I was afraid they were going to do.
Which is what?
I was afraid they were one was going to kill the other, and then he was going to be like, oh, glad I could be of assistance, your grace, and I've saved you, and she thanks him and everything like that. And then
they're still going to kill him.
No. There's like some they show you something. The twist is at the end of the episode that he is still the green Eric, and that he's gonna lie in wait and try and kill her again. That's what I didn't think. That's where I was afraid they were going. And I was like, please don't do that. That would be so fucking lame.
What is this, a fucking Batman show? A fucking Batman villain? I just feel like it's so comic book like.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just like, don't do this. That would be so lame. Don't do that. Don't do that. Well, thankfully they didn't. I think it's totally fine the way it turned out. It didn't really make me feel for the Erics.
I thought that they were going to, one would win and then they would not be able to confirm. So they would kill the other one.
Okay, well, my question is, the guy that came in, Sir Whatever, after the useless maid just stands there for 20 minutes and like Rhaenyra's finally like, go fucking get help.
Yeah.
That I'm like, my thought is like, okay, you need to, well, first of all, get more guards in here and like take them both into custody and you can figure that shit out later. Why are you letting them just fight it out here on your floor? The other, I assume he's another Kingsguard
he's
dude.
Unarmored.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get in between that and stop that?
He's just standing back doing nothing.
He's protecting Rhaenyra, dude.
Nah, he was like...
I can't, dude. He chopped my lips.
He's just standing... Eric needs help. And he's just like, I can't, dude. He chopped my lips.
I'm so glad that you have stuff on this soundboard that I haven't heard before.
That's my favorite part of it, is just to surprise you with shit.
So fucking funny, brother.
Oh my god.
Okay,
do not touch the rubbish.
Do not touch the rubbish.
Yeah, listen, it was fine.
Okay, why do you think Eric killed himself?
I think he was too torn up about killing his brother. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
I think, yeah, so I thought it was
also maybe he realized what a giant douche Kristen Cole is, and he's like, I don't want to go back to that guy. Also, he probably realized he wasn't getting out of there alive, even if he does kill Rhaenyra.
Oh, wait, hold on. I think I misunderstood you.
Oh, okay.
I think that was the blacks. Yeah, I definitely misunderstood.
Oh, you definitely misunderstood.
I thought that was
that doesn't make any sense to me then. Because, yeah, why would he kill himself?
I think he was killing himself. So they made it a point during the fight to say which one is like our Eric. And they didn't know. And I think
So you think he was doing that so they didn't have to worry that he was the wrong one?
That plus
killing his brother.
He just killed his brother. And he's really fucked up about it.
That's a really dumb reason for me. I'm sure if you go back, I think if I was paying closer attention in the fight, I think you could tell, because one of them gets cut early, and I think at that point you should still know which is which. Mm-hmm. Unless they're doing some like real camera trickeries. I'm sure someone will break down the fight and be like, no, this was this one and this was this one.
Yeah. I am curious.
But as far as I'm concerned, like, it only makes sense if that was the green Eric and he felt really bad about betraying the queen, Rhaenyra, and also his brother. And also,
I like that better.
Yes, I think that's probably why I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt here.
Okay.
Yeah, because if it was Eric killing his brother to defend his queen Rhaenyra, him killing himself, that doesn't work for me at all. That's stupid.
Well, we'll see when somebody much better at this than us talks about it.
True. I'm doing elaborate setups for obscure internet video jokes over here.
Yeah, dude.
But truthfully, I was like, just separate them and figure this shit out later. Come on.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so the episode ends with Alicent walks in on Aegon crying. And I thought this was a great moment. And I I am just sold on this actor, on his portrayal of Aegon. I really, really like him.
You were also sold on almond milk at some points, actor. I
like him. I like him because I knew him from a different show.
And then you realized how gross he looks naked.
He looks so bad naked, dude. Disgusting.
Turned into a body shaming podcast.
Yeah, bro. Progressive, you know? Didn't I say that? So she I hate how this episode ends, by the way.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's fucking bad. That is the worst. That's the worst part of this episode for me, is that she walks in on this scene with Aegon, which should have been the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Powerful scene, and decides, I'm just going to let him like be in his feelings and give him some space.
I feel like she should, like, if she wanted to, like, get back on the ends with Aegon, she should have comforted him.
I agree.
As his mother. Like, I feel like that was one of many bad calls from Alicent this episode.
Yeah, I do agree. Oh, you know what, dude? You know what we did forget to talk about is Alicent and Otto after Otto gets canned.
Oh, sure. Well, we talked about it a little bit here and there, but yeah.
So, right. So Otto is going to, or he was planning on going back to
Highgarden. Old Town.
Right.
Hightower, Old Town. That's where I got confused.
Yeah. But
she sounds like, do you think she convinced him to go to Highgarden? Like, he didn't really ever say one way or the other, but I'm assuming.
I think she did. And I think he's like trusting the game that she's trying to play.
Right. Well, because he's kind of out for now, or he's out of the council. He's out of the high stakes room. He's kind of got to trust her. So,
so I mean, obviously we don't know how that's going to play out, but that was the only time this episode that I felt like Alicent had her wits about her, you know?
Yeah.
I liked Alicent's performances in some spaces, like you mentioned early on in the episode. I did like that quite a bit. But yeah, like she's just kind of not working for me right now, especially after she goes into Aegon's room. He's crying.
Mm-hmm.
She walks out, goes to her room,
slaps the shit out of Crisco for a bit.
Slaps and pushes Kristen Cole for a minute. And then he's like, yeah, but have you seen how hot I am?
True.
And then she's like, shit, man, you right. Fucking put it in then.
Yeah.
You know, like I just didn't like how that ended at all.
Yeah, no. Bad ending. I don't know what they're doing with her character.
And so I was trying to rationalize this because I want to like things, right?
For sure.
And I'm like, maybe she's like, okay, she decides in that moment, I am going to work. I'm going to like
control Kristen Cole a little bit.
Cole, yes.
He is the new hand of the king. See, I didn't think about that angle. Okay, I'll buy that a little.
So that's, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how that plays out. Like as a human being, I understand why Alicent is like, yo, I've been fucking this old, basically dead dude for the last 20 years.
He's literally been decaying for like 30 years.
Pretty fucking hot.
Yeah.
So like, girl, get you yours, hot, you know?
So yes.
Yeah, right. Girl, get you yours is kind of what I'm saying.
I like your angle of, I would love to give her the benefit of the doubt that this is her trying to control Kristen a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, is she supposed to like push him away and get him pissed off at her, and then she loses another voice on the council, including her father?
Right.
That's a good angle. I hope that's the case.
Yeah, I just starting it off by smacking him and pushing him doesn't really bode
that's
well
just
for
foreplay,
that
baby. That's
all
foreplay.
Well, I had the thought too. Actually, she smacks him a couple times. Yes, she smacks him around a little bit and pushes him around, and then he goes to kiss her, and like the dude is hard already. Like he
got in immediately.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, does slapping you around like that just kind of get you there? Because I mean, kind of does
Let
for me.
the boy watch.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Anything
all
else? We need to wrap this fucking thing up. I really came in here thinking like there's nothing to talk about in this episode. It'll be done in like 40 minutes flat.
Hey, fuck you.
I should know better by now.
Give me
I
some
suppose.
space to like shit and talk about it.
Incorrect.
And don't
Okay.
fucking rush me when I'm talking about shit I like.
Then you tell me, Zachary, who won the episode.
Oh, well,
say Aegon and move on. Fucking hell.
it's probably Aegon, yeah.
Yeah, it's Otto, so you're wrong. Incorrect opinion number 37 from Zach. Only Otto could lose his job as Hand of the King and still win the episode because he's that big of a baller. That's my dude right there.
I didn't know that you stand for Otto.
You knew. I stand from Otto from the beginning, brother. What are you talking about?
Like, I think you knew that he was cunning, but...
Yeah, and I liked him. From episode 1.
Yeah, and I liked him.
And I like him. It's only that my obscenely large love of Viserys just like overtook it. Because I mean, listen, Patty is the goat. Let's be
Patty
real
is
here.
the goat. You're right.
What are you rating this your golden child of an episode over here?
Oh my god. Let's not get it twisted,
Oh,
asshole.
I'm gonna get it twisted.
Oh, by the way, I meant to share with you. Yeah, I meant to tell you. I wanted to share a third party's opinion.
Okay. Do we care about this third party's opinion?
Yeah, it's Chaz. I don't know. Do you care
gross.
about
Ew, no. I'm just kidding. Love you, buddy.
So, he texted me completely unprompted, by the way, right before we were about to record, and he said, that episode kind of sucked.
That's my dude.
And I said, what? Not as great as last episode, but hard disagree. And he said, I can't say that I took anything good from the episode at all. I'd have to rewatch season 1, but I'd go so far as to say that it could be the worst episode of House of the Dragon so far.
No. Probably bottom 3, but not the worst.
Yeah.
But that's my dude, Chaz. Chaz is looking out.
Yeah, I did say, I mean, naturally there will have to be a worst episode of anything.
That just kind of has to be, yeah.
But I haven't been wholly negative on any episode so far, like completely negative. And
I feel like this is the second one I've been mostly negative on.
I don't recall what episode during season 1
it was like episode 5. It was 4 or 5 is the one where like Rhaenyra's still young. She sneaks out of the palace with Daemon.
Oh,
it was like
that's
the
right.
LSD trip episode.
See, I liked that episode a lot more on rewatch.
No, I liked it more, but like marginally on rewatch. It was still not great.
Fair.
All right, what are you rating this?
I think I'm going to give it a 7.
Nay!
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. What was that rating?
I'm going to give it a 7.
Nay, double nay! Do not touch the rubbish.
That's me with this episode. 5.5, baby. That's what it is.
Nay, double nay.
Thank you, folks, for joining us on this absolute shit show of an episode. Hey, we don't usually do this, but we love and appreciate our patrons. We don't usually give them a shout out on House of the Dragon, but real quickly, I want to give a shout out to Jordan, Nathan, Jen, Allie, Chaz, Jenna, Terrence, Andrea, Emma, Kristen, Sarah, and Hannah. You guys are great. We love our patrons. Zach, was there any final thing we needed to go over here?
I think that's everything here. We love and appreciate you guys for watching and listening. And if you want to be part of that list that Scott just read off so eloquently, you can go hit us up on patreon.com/mythkeepers, where you'll get access to some bonus content and some of our ACOTAR series episodes, early release as well. We love you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
He's doing some dope shit right now, dude.
I fucking hate you so much, dude.
Yeah.
I hate that I don't have access to this fucking sample.
That's the best part. And then you have no idea what's coming.
Nay!
Dude, the nay double nay was so good.
Nay, double nay!
You don't know how much of a struggle it was to not just take every single line from that video and add it to this fucking thing.